Hi everyone, and welcome to Tips and Tricks. In this video, I'm going to focus on Kaggle competitions, specifically the competitions where you have inference only. So, kernels only. So, there are many competitions going on Kaggle these days, and they are only kernels. So you write all your code in kernels, or you can train offline and predict in the kernels. So competitions like that are like one of them which recently ended. So um, in this one, you can see like there's a lot of different types of kernels, right? So this is one inference kernel that we have. It's yeah, quite huge, breathtaking, lots of information in this one. It's quite a good kernel, by the way. And there are many other competitions, like even the data science bowl that was there. It was also kernels only. I think so. Yeah. Um, so you see that like you make submissions using Kaggle notebooks, and you can train offline. So external data is allowed, including training offline and uploading the model. But the kernels are so huge, it gets very difficult to manage, when as the competition progresses. So today I'm going to show you how to make a much cleaner submission kernel. And we are going to use the same old ML framework that we have been using. So as you can see, I have everything here, and I have, in the last episode, I think I have downloaded this train cat and test cat. So these categorical files are for the categorical encoding challenge. So let me go back there. Okay, and what do we have here? It's not the kernels only, but I'm just going to use it as an example, and you can obviously create a notebook and see I've already started on it. So um, I'm not going to go through the data again. I've already done it in my previous videos. If you have missed something, take a look. So what I'm going to do is I already have this file that I created, right? So I'm just gonna say, okay, instead of train cat, instead of train, I'm now doing train cat, and I'm generating the same files, train folds. So let's hope it works without any modification, and that's the best use of this kind of framework, right? So let's see. Here I am, and Python create folds. It's giving me some indentation error. Did I change indentation here? I did not. Let me check. It seems like I have changed this one. Okay, hopefully it works now. Okay, yeah, so it's working fine. I have a warning, but it's okay, I can ignore that for now. And then I go to train.py. Now if you're watching this video for the first time, we have covered a lot of things in previous videos, so take a look. Um, so now this expects a training file, test data, folds, and I have all these 3 columns to be removed, and it's doing label encoding for model and fold, and it's then writing the model, and it's also writing the column names. Okay, so we don't need to do the label encoding for every fold. If we have done it once, we have done it, but just for the sake of not changing anything right now, just using what we have, I'm just going to keep it. And then we have this run.sh. So let me unhide everything, and okay, so which model do we have? I think we can check that in dispatcher. We have random forest, 200 estimators. I think that's good enough for now. And we also have predict.py that takes the label encoder, model columns, and for every encoder it's printing columns and then creating a prediction submission file using sample submission.csv. So let me see if I have the correct sample submission.csv. I think this is probably correct. Ooh, lots of values. Yeah, that's the correct sample submission file that I have. And here I have to change this one to train test_cat.csv. I have the model that I pass as an argument. Okay, so let's try to just run it and see what happens. So I'm just gonna do sh run.sh, and I hope it works. Let's see. No, it doesn't. Okay, so it seems like I have a lot of nan values. So what I'm going to do is a small modification in the training data, in the training script. So here we go. Can go here, can go here, and I'm just gonna say okay, train underscore dfc dot lock all rows and column C is, I'm just going to convert it to string dot as type str dot fill na none, and I'm gonna do the same for valid and test. I hope that fixes the error. Let's see. I don't have error yet, so probably it's fixed. So now I will wait for the model to finish the training and then see what happens next. Okay, so now I have another error. Yeah, it's because in run.sh I have this argument for model. That's the first argument, so I forgot to write that. Random forest, and then let's run again. So as you can see, it's training fine now, hopefully. So let train. So while it trains, we can change our predict function a little bit. So I'll go to predict, and let's make this smaller. So predict function expects an environment variable test data and model. So I'm just going to convert them to arguments of this function predict. So I will say it expects test data and model. Test data path, let's say, because it's a path. Model type, that's random forest. And let's remove this. And then we have test data. So test data, we have 2 locations. So I'm just going to change this to test underscore data. And I had model. So model and share and here, also here. Okay, so model becomes model type, and fold remains as fold as it is. I'm just gonna remove the print. Now that it's not ready to train, it's ready to predict. Okay, everything else looks fine to me. Do we need this? Yeah, let's keep it for now. Doesn't matter. Our predict script will fail probably because it doesn't have any arguments here, or maybe I can fix it quite quickly. Test data path, go to input slash test underscore cat.csv, and model type is random forest. Now I hope it doesn't fail. Okay, so we have to wait because model is still training. So let's see how much time that takes. So it seems like it has failed again. Let's see why. Test data, okay, sorry, it should be test data path, and this should also be test data path, and then I will run it again. This time I'm hiding the training because training is done. Training has been fine, and let's run it again. Model is not defined. Yeah, I thought I already changed it, but apparently I did not. And lots of nans, yay. Okay, so where are we going wrong? We have to do the same processing here as type str.fill_na none. I really hope it works this time. So there is another failure, and yeah, that's not good, but it's my mistake again. It can be fixed if I just change this to, let's call it rf_sub, and then I will run it again, and this time it will work for sure. So now it has finished, and I can take a look at the summation file it generated. So I call it rf_summation. Let's see. So ID target, but I have this problem again that I didn't fix. So I will fix it in this predict script. So I will just say submission ID equal to and this dot as type, and yeah, that should fix it. So I unfortunately have to run it again, but let's see. So while it predicts, I have started creating a new dataset. You see, like I already have this dataset, but I'm going to just add all the files again. I'm just going to add everything that I have and replace files and call it clean submission version. So that's just like the versioning, and I hope I got all of them. Okay, so this one is still uploading, and I have created a kernel. So let me remove that dataset that I had previously and create. So this is done, so I can create the dataset. It's not going to take much time. And then hopefully it's done. Okay, no, it's still working. So we have to wait until then. I can check this one and RF submission. So now it's fixed. So it's an int, not a float anymore. And wow, it's taking much longer than I expected because it's very small files. So I think it's done uploading, so I can add the data. So let's search for it. Hopefully we find it. Okay, we don't find it. So you can also search by URL. That works. And I add it. Okay. Is this even done? It says updated much longer ago. I don't know if it's done. And that's not good. So I had to create a dataset again. Now it's available finally. And I go here and take this link, add the dataset. Let's see what we have now. Okay, still loading. And we also want to upload the model files. Actually, we need to make some changes. So go back to our predict function. So it says that it's in this path models slash, but I don't have, I haven't defined, I need to define that path as an argument. So I will say model path and replace this with model path. Okay, I don't need to run this again. This will work. So I don't have any more model paths here. And now I re-upload this dataset. So I go to new version. And I replace. and create this dataset. Now, in the meantime, I need to create another dataset. So new dataset, cat feeds underscore model, and here you can see that I have these files that I need for prediction, so I add them. Let me make it public. I think I don't have enough space in my private. So these files, you can see it's quite huge. So we have to wait for some time for it to process and upload and process. So it seems like the dataset finished. And now I can just go here and add both the datasets. So let's add this one first. And then we add ML framework. So this is done. Now we wait for the kernel to load. You see, like, this is quite a lot of data. The model is huge, and we just did that just because we had that model. So we have the kernel now finally, so I can do so the thing is, we want a clean kernel, that's it. So we do import sys dot path dot insert, that's 0, input slash ML framework. Okay, so we have this now. So now we can import files from ML framework, and that's very cool. So from ML framework dot predict import predict. So the function name that we had was predict. Sorry, let's not do this. Let's do just slash input. So now we have ML framework in path. And then we see, okay, what variables we have. So my submission, let's call it sub, will be test data path, model type, and model path. So my test data path is input slash category cat in the dat2 test.csv. My model path is random forest, model type is random forest, and my model path is cat feeds underscore model. So this should now generate the submission. Yeah, it's gonna probably take a while. And then I need this. Don't forget that. Okay. Okay, so I don't know why I'm getting this error now. Probably it doesn't have the latest version of scikit-learn. So okay, let's do this. Let's try to update the scikit-learn package. Hopefully it finds it then. No module in scikit-learn processing label. Okay, that's weird. Let's see. Okay, so it seems to be working now, and I have to plug in this part. I'm gonna put it here, and we call it sub. So I need to change that. Sub submission.csv index false, and that should work. You can also see that I'm getting some warnings trying to unpickle estimator from version 22 when using version 22.1. So I'm going to say that I want 0.22, and I also don't want any outputs, so I'm going to forward all outputs to /dev/null, so that will suppress all outputs that I have here. And this is an extra cell, it's gone. And then I just commit the code. It will take a while, let's wait. So now it's done. Let's take a look. I think it's just done. Okay, so we can ignore these errors. We don't use these things anyways. So we have one cell for the installation, one to import, one to predict, and one for the final submission. And this is a much cleaner submission file that I like to use. So even when you have multiple models, you can create multiple predict functions to combine them together, and this will always be clean. It will always work. You can do versioning of the datasets that you have. You can also link them up to your GitHub account. So it's quite easy and quite simple, and you can also do a training function here, and you can train, and you don't have to do all the code in this Jupyter environment. It doesn't even look good if it grows a lot. So for small stuff, it's okay. For EDA and things, it's fine. So it has generated a submission file, and just for the sake of submitting, I will submit to the competition. And hopefully it works without any errors. Yeah, it does. So it gives a low score, that's okay. And yeah, I hope this video has been useful. And the kernel is public, the dataset is public. Take a look. The updated code will be in GitHub, same repository, ML framework. And if I've done some mistakes, let me know. I was hoping this video will be quite small, but yeah, things didn't turn out well for me. So I'll try to keep tips and tricks smaller. Thank you very much. Thanks for watching. Bye.